It's March 19th, I believe. And I've up-potted a large majority of the tomatoes, as you can see here. And I just finished a few more. I've got more to do, but the ones that I did earlier this week are doing pretty good. I'll go over these in front here in just a second. So I have Torahina cherries potted up, Rutgers, which is the Campbell's soup, tomato soup tomato. It's really red and really sweet, so we like to mix that into our sauce. And then for tomato soup, it was a fantastic tomato for that. Got some of these Cherokee Carbon. Some of these are really weren't doing that great. You can see some of the little bit more yellowing. So I wanted to get them out of the pot they were in into a better medium or compost. And so I did not wait for all of them to have real true leaves. As long as I watered them really well, or put them into moist soil and water them really well over the next day or so, they should be fine. Tomatoes are pretty resilient. You'll see these are the ones that I just did here. So some of them are going to flop over before they actually come back up. That's really normal. I've got the fan on so you can see them kind of jiggling here. And that helps get that really sturdy stem. And then the lights are roughly about 12 inches off, and that is the lowest I can go on this chain here. These are great because I can just lift them up and hook them up at a higher chain if I need to. Though not easy to do it one-handed, so had to pause for a second here. Mountain Magics are a 2-ounce kind of vine or a cluster tomato. Though we don't always wait for them to get ripe all together. They're a great tomato, and you probably, if you watched my videos for a while, you probably have heard me say these were like ideal. And the reason I wanted to do a 2-ounce was I don't actually like fresh tomatoes. Jay loves them, and he always wanted to have a tomato on a sandwich, and then he hated having half a tomato left of some of these larger varieties. So the Mountain Magic was a really good option for that, and he really loved them. There was a little larger than a cherry tomato, but a really good option on those. Cherokee Carbons are the cross between the two heirlooms, the Cherokee Purple and the Carbon. So probably a lot of you have heard of both of those. Back here I do have the Lithianthus, and I think last time we talked they weren't up, or I videoed. So here are the little golds that are up. I poked holes on the bottom of the tray, and I do get asked this a lot. I get messages on it. I do use the dog crate trays. They're easier. It's much easier than trying to water all the 10-20 trays, because we can just water, and I leave, you can see like here, I leave a corner open so that we can easily get to water. So Jace just helped me and filled a bunch of these up just a minute ago. This will be gone probably very, very quickly here. He only had him water these 2 trays for tonight. These 2 on a different couple days schedule. And so I'm watching and waiting and seeing how they're doing. They're all still really good and moist. There's a couple, like you can see, like this one looks really dry, but it might be dry up on the top. That doesn't mean it's actually dry underneath. So you can see it's dripping. That's fine. We're trying to focus on some of the root growth. So that's expected at this point. Over here, the Corelli Light Pink. I don't know if you'll be able to see any. Moving these trays is not ideal. Oh, there's one right there. They're still coming up, and there's, whenever I moved the tray, the soil dislodged, which wasn't great. And these Lithianthus are so small that they just pop right up, and then it's near impossible to get them to be good. So next year, definitely have a few more lessons learned if I do put them from seed. But it was kind of, experimenting as we go. Over here, I did just get some more seeds going. So if you're following along with what I'm seeding when, we're about 8 weeks back from our Avg Last Frost. I do have a hoop house, so some of these might go in the hoop house, but really I'm in that 6 to 8 week grouping of my seeds right now for my planting. And so some of these were 8 to 10. So I do have a little bit of both sides here, but I did want to get some of these perennials started quickly. So this one, if you can even read my handwriting, is Eryngium. I don't even know how to pronounce it. It's a perennial. It's called White Glitter. I'll try to find a picture. I believe it's from Johnny Seeds. We've got Dianthus. I was just reading this one, and it was talking about how these do really well in one plant for 1 gallon pot, 4 cut flowers, which is actually kind of intriguing for me. So more to come on that one. I'll do some more research. This is the giant columbine. It's a perennial here in Zone 5b. Oh, Gomphrena. I've got a couple different ones. So that's the Audrey Pink. Oh, Genevieve's basil. I did finally get some basil started here. And Gomphrena strawberry. I think that's what that says. Gomphrena QIS mix. So I tried to do a vermiculite top. I got this from our local hydroponics store, or really, it's where I get a lot of my fertilizer. Try to shop local as much as I can. And so this is a little bit of a larger grain vermiculite, which I was excited to try. And so trying to do this as a cover, we'll see this one over here has it as well, to see how this does versus just soil on these. So good test here. The Maximilian sunflowers, this is a perennial. This is supposedly can be on the edge of invasive, so I'm going to be really careful of where I plant this. It says every 3 years you're going to need to split it. So, but supposedly a really good filler. Ageratum, this is a timeless mix. I did ageratum last year. I've always loved that. Great in cut flowers, and it dries actually pretty well, especially in the freeze dryer. If you haven't seen those videos, go back and check the freeze drying flowers. This one is another Eryngium. I am sure I'm butchering that. It's a perennial here. It's blue glitter, so different color versus the white glitter. And then Sunball doesn't want much coverage. And you'll see, like this one, I just spritzed, and you can see some of the seeds are already even moving with just the spritz. But I sprinkle them pretty heavily on the top. These ones need light for germination, as well as a few of these others. And Sunball suggests vermiculite for the top. So that's what I have seeded for week 8, or 8 weeks out of our last frost so far. I'm running out of table space and lights, so this guy is just hanging out here. These are a bunch of our peppers, and so I have more to transplant, but I'm waiting for more of the true leaves to come in. This way they get some light at least. You can see the red picnic peppers are doing pretty well, and the Thai chilies are doing pretty good here for probably next up for transplants. Over here, this is the bin I use for the mix. So right now I'm using Costa Maine Premium or Platinum or something like that. And then I added vermiculite into it, and then I hand mix because I want to make sure I get any clumps out of there. Because when you get a bag, sometimes there's large clumps. As soon as I can start using compost outside, I will probably do that. And I also sometimes use the black and gold seedling mix for things that have really tiny seeds that are not light germinated, so that they can really have no issue pushing up. Earlier this week, maybe, or last week, I planted echinacea and lavender in here. So I also have these going. And then this is the box of empty seed packets, I guess is the word. And so that's continuing to fill up. And then I do have a couple out here that I need to put back in my container that I showed you guys last time that I might replant again. So I've got those. Over here, this is all the Lithianthus. So I put these over in the tray over there for about 15 minutes or so. And you can see they picked up the moisture right up, so I didn't have to spray them this time. I'm going to try to stop doing any spritzing as much as possible on these. as they actually, I don't know if you'll be able to see these or not. They're starting to get their second true leaves, even though they are so small here. You can see, look at them. So they're still doing pretty good. So I've got these are the Black Pearl. I've got the Doubleini Blues, the Voyage to First Love. And if you weren't following along, this is my first year growing Lithianthus. And I wanted to do a test of me trying to start them from seed at the same time as when I custom ordered from ball seeds through ball seeds from Raker Roberta's. And so I have done a custom order to get a bunch of different colors as well, some overlap I think, to see how I can do on that. But yeah, so that's the green on the back there. So I have 5 colors total, I think. Oh no, 7 colors total. A couple lessons learned on those so far, but I will try to probably do a video on those once I get them out in the ground. Over here I've got my celery. I still have celery coming up. It is a long germination, so don't give up, even though they look really bare on the trays. Just today I think there's 3 more, so that's pretty typical. I've got onions started from seed. I also ordered plants because I didn't start these as early as I wanted, and the Johnny seed plants did amazing for us last year and actually stored really well. Talon and Long Florence, these are like a red shallot type long elongated onion. More back here. I am at the point where I probably need to start haircutting them. I was going to do that this week. I hadn't gotten to it yet. And I've got some more over here. These are what's left of the big beef that I haven't transplanted. So you can see the first true leaves are actually really healthy. That's a good sign. These other leaves, I hope you guys aren't too frustrated with me right now. I cannot think of words. I think it starts with a C, but it is not coming to brain. These will go light yellow as they start getting used up, because a bunch of the extra nutrients from it when the seed started was in these first leaves. And then the first true leaves, as long as those are healthy, we're good. So you can see these look much healthier. So I'm not as worried. The Voyage Champagne Lithianthus, again, you can see really small. I do need to water these. I haven't yet. There was only half a tray up here. I've got a bunch of delphiniums. This is the first time growing them from seed, so that's going to be a really interesting test. You can tell I'm really trying to step up my perennial game a little bit. These are the Rutgers that I haven't transplanted out. So what I did is I transplanted them out of the pot that they were growing, which was this pot, and I added a little bit more compost mix, and then repotted them back in there because I didn't need them growing yet. So there's that. I did just top water these lettuces and some of the kale. Look, isn't it cute? These are looking kind of scraggly, and these were out of some of the light, although this is a paler green anyways, variety. These come out really easily right now. So my goal is by the end of the week to have these over into the hoop house. The weather looks like it's a good timing for that. Sweet peas need to go out to the hoop house. I was hoping to do that this weekend, but the weather didn't cooperate, and then we're going to be low 20s tonight. So I didn't do that yet. Cherokee carbons, cayennes, hot peppers, early jalapenos, anchos, which are poblano, Cherokee carbons. Dusty Miller. It's the first time I'm growing that from seed. I have mixed feelings on that plant, so we'll see how that goes. My stock needs to go out, so these 2 trays really need to go outside like now. But Mother Nature doesn't always cooperate. Parsley, this needs to get split. Feverfew, it's the first time growing. I've got, let's see. Magic Single, white, and I do have a green that's already out in the hoop house to see how it would do earlier and kind of do a test. And these lupin also need to go out. We still have a foot of snow on the ground from that big storm. Some more sweet peas and some broccoli rabe. So I need to get those out really, really soon. I did fill a bunch of the grow bags, so I'm ready for some of these to go actually into a grow bag when I get out there after they get hardened off from the actual sun. That'll be a big change, especially because where they are right now is not the best lighting. Eucalyptus, first time growing that. Snapdragons, these really need to go out. And actually I found that 3 of the snapdragons I put in the hoop house in the fall and transplanted them into the hoop house already have new growth out there. So I've transplanted those into a grow bag, and I'm excited to see how those do. I've got yarrow, more parsley, more yarrow, stock, snapdragon, that's another snap, more anxious with poblano, mystery tomato, doing really, really well with all of these California Wonders, ace bell peppers, another ancho type, more Valentine tomatoes. These are the grape tomatoes. They do really well. This is the pepper that I didn't label. I'm guessing they're bells, but I don't really know. California Wonder. This is another pot where I took the scragglers. I might just throw these out. I have plenty of tomatoes over there. This is the, oh my God. Oh, the big beef. I'm really having a tough time here. California Wonder, California Wonder. So that's what's growing right now. Like I said, I'm about 8 weeks out from the average last frost for us, although I use sometimes a little bit of a later week than what they say, but I will be watching the weather because that's more of a guideline. So I think I have plenty of tomatoes. We're hoping to sell some of these locally this year, and so that's why we did so many, although I think they got away from me a little bit. I plant somewhere around 65 is in my garden plan this year. Last year I had 94, 96, something like that. And we aren't doing any paste, you'd probably notice at this point. So I'm sticking to what we like to can and eat for sandwiches and things like that, and salads, and what we can sauce, a couple different recipes of sauce, salsa, taco sauce, ketchup, and a bunch of things. So filling our pantry is really our primary goal still. So that's how we've chosen our varieties, what's done well for us and what's tasted really good for the stuff. And that's kind of where we're at. I didn't actually try a new variety, but we do have a few friends I usually try to swap some plants with, and that's how I usually get exposed to the new types at this point. Again, we're trying to be more of a production for our own pantry first, and then we are planning on selling some vegetables as well this year. I did also want to say I went to a really awesome ag meeting today, local. It was so nice meeting some other local farmers, and it was a lot of fun, and I learned a lot. And so I'm still digesting a lot of the information, but I may try to do a video. If you guys are interested, please leave a comment on some of the things we went over, on how to help each other and how to build a better community. And even though most of us are somewhat of an introvert, is what the joke was today, I do think we all want to help each other and be successful. So building that network of your community, if you guys do that, is really important. So let me know if you're interested in some of that, and I will definitely do some video updates and tell you guys what happened during our meeting. We don't meet, I guess, every month. This is my first time going, but we will meet a good few times during the year. So definitely some interesting opportunities coming up, and I hope I will be able to do a video on that soon through some of the local organizations. So thanks for checking in with us this week. I may do a video later this week if I get more seeds planted, and I hope you found something useful. If you did, please make sure you hit the thumbs up and Subscribe if you haven't yet. Happy gardening.